Okay, morning guys, welcome to day 5, last day of the week, weekend's almost here. So let's get going. Hope you're all feeling well today. There's plenty of room around you to get the warm-up started, and you've also got a drink to hand. So we're going to start today's front crawl themed warm-up with 2-minute rounds of normal skipping. So for me that could just be any variation, but basically just going up and down on the spot. In 3, 2, 1, go. At this point I really am envying the ones that have skipping ropes. Should grab on the way out the door on the 20th. So make sure you don't forget to check in so we know you're here.
Yep, we've got loads of people checking in.
Good. For future reference, you know it's the right video if it has a live in the top corner. So if you check in and you don't see that, you're probably watching an old one.
In the little red box.
Okay, 20 seconds left. Gets a lot easier with that rope if you start using your arms and swinging in rhythm as well. Then relax, turn off, grab a drink, and then back in, one more round. In 3, 2, 1, go. It worked pretty well yesterday as well in terms of people asking questions, and I'll then respond to them on here so everyone can see them. So if you do have anything, just let us know. Sorry, getting feedback from the production team. 15 seconds. Oh, I forgot the rest. A bit longer. Mix it up. I'm going to finish on a high knee sprint. 3 seconds in, 2, 1, go. Relax. Lots of breaths. Then you're going into bent knee arm cross, down on the ground, shoulders pinned to the floor, and rotate your hips. Oh, there's bent knee. Same thing though, feet up. The slower you go, the more of a stretch you're going to feel. So 3 on each side. Just mess around with your knee position as well. So if you try straight leg, see how that feels compared to a bent hip. Then into Spider-Man lunge and rotate. So if we go from standing, lunge forward, big stretch. Put your arm on the outside of your lead leg. Doesn't seem like that much of a difference, but it's much harder. So if you try inside, you've got a lot more freedom. Put your elbow on the outside of the knee. You can then push your arm through that lead leg to get a lot more work done. So big long lunge. You should feel stretch in your hips as well. You're not going to get a lot of range, mainly because you've completely isolated your thoracic spine. But you can work on it as something to aspire to improve. Leg swings, 6 on each side. Again, try and keep your other foot flat on the ground. So you know that all the range is coming from the right muscles. Switch sides. Just make sure I don't kick the radiator. Or I'll get in trouble. Okay, side to side. And also making sure you try not to rotate your hips too much. Your primary interest is kicking your leg up to the ceiling. Then scat press, IYTW to finish off, and then vertical jumps for priming. The scat press, your primary interest is stretching behind between your shoulders and activating this muscle here. So if you try and get your spine up as high as you can, and get your shoulders as close to the floor as you can. And then control the down phase. If you've got a thin band, you'll probably feel it a lot more. Just around your back. Then push. Or some of you have done it on poolside. Leaning up like this. Then IYTW. Two seconds out. Squeeze in the middle. All the reach coming from your shoulder blades. So if you literally think about leading with this bone here, and you go up, then you pull that down and reach out to a Y, you manage to activate a lot more of the muscles that you're trying to activate. Otherwise, if you do that, not a lot happens. Vertical jump to finish. So 6 individual. Don't want to rebound because you'll gain a lot more from doing each one like at the start. So in your own time, just get 6 done as high as you can. So whether that means a quick takeoff, whether that means you have a pause and go take your marks, go. Doesn't matter, just do 6 of them. Grab yourself a drink. And then I'm going to talk through part 1 of the session. So, you've got a whole body strength circuit to start off with. So, wall walks into dead bug, inverted row, and then dips. So, a double hit of pushing work. Wall walk. So, I'm going to table for this part. And then everything else is just flat down on the ground. So that's the worst place for me to demonstrate a wall walk. For those that haven't seen, I'm sure a lot of you have. You start with your in a press up position, walk yourself onto a door, push your hands through the floor and your toes through the door or the wall, and walk yourself into an inverted position. So 45 seconds based on your ability. If you want to just do a wall hold, go for that. If you can manage the walk up and down, you're just going to do that for 45 seconds. Hold the top. If you want to practice doing that incline position, go for that. Just make sure you're supervised if you're going to try and do freestanding handstands, and just let us know how you're getting on. I think a lot of you have made some really cool progress over the last few weeks. Dead bugs, there's going to be double. You only get single in warm-ups when you're this age. Inverted row and dips. So that's when you bring in your table and go for there. So last little chance to get a drink. And we'll get started in 3, 2, 1, go. So 45 seconds. If you can get into that position and hold it for 45, be my guest. Just make sure you stay safe and don't get lazy. So if you're here, you're pushing your hands down through the ground and you're reaching your toes up to the ceiling. If it gets too much, incline yourself a bit. We'll come down, maybe do 10 seconds on, 5 seconds off. You'll be coming to the end of that in 3, 2, 1, relax. Again, wouldn't advise mats and I wouldn't advise cushions. For grip, the last thing you want is to be pushing hard through the mat and it slip. So on to double dead bugs in 3, 2, 1, go. If anyone needs to see a different variation of that, let me know. I'm sure I can come up with something in between. So reps wise, I'd probably go for around 10 to 12 of these. Just make each one slow and deliberate, as long as you can. Snap back to the middle. 2, 1, relax. Inverted rows. In 2, 1, go. Some options here. If your table's low, you could go back a bit. Just make sure your table doesn't jump up like that. If you've got books that are stable enough, you can elevate it that way. You can treat the start of each one like a start. So in your head, take your marks, go up explosively, down slow. So get a bit of fast twitch effort early in the morning. We'll go with your feet up. 2, 1, relax. Into dips. Finish the round. Three, 2, 1, go. So again, you get used to doing them at SSP with a set height. So I'd adapt it based on what you've got today. If you have to bend your knees to keep a straight upright back, I'd go there. If you can go straight leg, I'd focus on pushing your hips backwards so that everything from your head down to your hip stays bolt upright. I keep aiming at the camera out of habit, but all of you are going to be working right now. So again, I'd rather you went for something like 10 to 15 reps. Slow and controlled. And only go to when your elbow is in line with your shoulder. Relax. So that's the end of round 1. While you're recovering, I'll demonstrate because again, you should have been working, not watching. So if you go straight leg, but you cut the range around your back, bring your feet in, hold your core, bring your belly button back towards you, go down straight, and get ready to go back into wall walk. In 3, 2, 1, go. So other ways to build it up, you could go with a wall hold, so just start at the bottom. And try and get your head in between your hands. So if you go with your head above your hands, it becomes a little bit easier, but you're also not keeping your spine aligned. If you lift your head, same as everything you're taught about being in the water, if your head comes up, if something comes up, something else has to go down. So try and push your head between your arms and keep it there the whole time. And we're going to stop in 3, 2, 1, relax. And 15 off. Into dead bugs. Slow and controlled, see how many we do that way. 3, 2, 1, go. So out for 2, hold for 2, in across 2. Pause. 1, 2, relax. 1, 2, weight up. 1, 2. As you're doing it, reach your heels or your toes as far away from your fingers as you can. Make sure you keep your lower back pushed into the ground pull your hips towards your head. So the bones in the front, tuck them up. 2, 1, relax. So this position here should feel like you're starting a flutter kick.
Have you got an alternative if we can't do inverted rows?
Bent over row. It's probably the only one you can do. So 2, 1, go. So inverted row, if you haven't got one of those, the safest way to do it alone would be bent over. I'll demonstrate, you all know what it is, but that. Or you could use a towel. So I'm trying to introduce this one, but I'll grab a towel or a dressing gown or something. You've got 15 seconds left. Stand on it. Daughter's going to kill me for it, this. But if you get into that same position, and then pull as hard as you can, and then relax in 2, 1, go. So if you're doing the towel pull, do it in 5-second bursts. I'll explain more in round 3. And with dips in 2, 1, go. There is actually a way to use towels for most of these exercises. So if you're unsure, if you've got towels, I'm sure most, like all of you do, and you don't mind the risk, there isn't that much of a risk, it's a very small chance, depending on how worn it is. I think the hardest thing with these, pausing at the bottom, because you get 10 seconds left, challenge you to wait at the bottom. 1, 2, push, and then relax. So another 30 off. One more round, actually everyone's okay with wall walks. Based on what I've seen, a wild assumption on my own ability compared to yours. So, a little bit longer on the rest till we get into round 3 in 2, 1, let's go. So time yourself, or get someone else to time. I think the biggest challenge with the inverted wall walks is that if you're strong enough in your upper body, it's easy to just hang out there and push without thinking about your core. So always make sure 2, 1, relax. Whichever one you're doing, you're reaching with your toes as well. If you can't feel your core and your hips, you're not going to be able to transfer it as well into a proper handstand. So dead bugs in 3, 2, 1, go. That's me being sneaky because I didn't think that's exactly what I just did. And clicking and popping in the hips. If it doesn't show up anywhere else, it's probably not a big issue. Slow and controlled. Big squeeze at the end. Snap back. Control your breathing. 5 seconds left. And relax. Inverted row, I'm gonna go with the towel. So if you can do an inverted row, at this point you guys should be trying to lift your feet up, even if it's just 2 textbooks under your heels. 3, 2, 1, go. So I'm assuming that everybody knows what a bent over row is. If you don't know, you have to tell me. So I don't waste half the coaching points in this one. So you stand on the towel, or the dressing gown, or the blanket, whatever you've got. Grip it hard. If this was a bent over row, you'd be doing this, lowering up and down. Because this isn't stretchy, you just pull it as hard as you can for at least 5 seconds per rep. Relax for 5, 2, 1, pull as hard as you can, like it's the heaviest weight you can lift. Then relax. Time for one more. 2, 1, relax. So you'll use your back quite a lot during that. It's by no means a substitute entirely to one into dips. I'll explain at the end. It's good to do all of them, but if you have no other option for getting some good back work done, or you've only got little weights relative to your strength, guys, I'd say it's a good way of getting your back to work quite hard. Again, a lot of you, I know you're mobile enough to go lower than shoulders below elbows, but you'll get a lot more. Dips are about tricep strength. 3, 2, 1, relax. The lower you go, the more you're going to have a change in the laxity of the joint at your shoulder. You want to just be, if you think about pull downs, those of you that have done those should just be about what's happening here. So by all means give it a try. Pause at that point. I'd rather you stopped when your elbows in line with your shoulder and waited for 2 seconds. You'll get a lot more work done without having to worry about your shoulder. Because if you think of everything we just did, if your shoulder goes, you're not going to get a lot done anyway. Especially when it's week 1 of the season that you can ill afford to break now. So, part 2, grab yourselves a drink, a little bit of rest, go another 45 seconds into movement skills. So we've got streamline crunch, hands overhead, ball your stomach up as small as you can, press a plank march. So just press a plank, slowly lifting your feet up. We've done that a lot this week. But I think it's a great way to start conditioning your lower back and your hips. And then airplanes. So a little bit longer than the rest. The airplane, single leg RDL with a twist at the end. Hinge down, so try to rotate your hip up. 45 on one, 45 on the other. But now we're going to get started. If you finish your drink, streamline crunch in 3, 2, 1, go. So make sure your face stays in between your arms. Concentrate on breath control. 2-second hold at the top of each rep. So to get the most out of it, you want to go up for 2, hold for 2, and down for 2. So start. 1, top, weight, down, down. So again, less reps. Like sprinters, I've got a bit of that mindset about me. I'd rather do less reps. So when you see 45 seconds, just do less reps, but slow them down so you're actually doing more work, but because you think it's less reps, you're going to get more from it and stay happy. So press up plank march. In 3, 2, 1, go. Distance group have to talk to you on that because 45 seconds is going to feel like nothing to you anyway. So these start to get a lot easier. Again, deliberately think, push your hands into the floor. If you have to stop, just completely rest for 2 seconds, 3 seconds, no more than that. And go back in. Because that's what's going to make the back end of it easier to pull off. 2, 1, relax. And then always keep your hip tight. So reach your leg as long as you can get it. Then you're into airplanes. In 3, 2, 1, go. So start off single leg RDL, get into a T shape if you can't. So that'd be level 1 for me. Level 2, get into that position, put your hand on your hip and push it up. So if you keep looking at the floor, see if you can twist your hip and hold it, and gradually come back down to the start position and then relax. What you don't want is to keep falling over without any control. So do another single leg RDL, go back into that end range, hold for as long as you can, come back down and relax, switch sides, and we'll go in 3, 2, 1, let's go. So it's much better as well if you have a wall to use. I haven't got one for this side, so you can see what's happening at my hip. So hinge down, using your hand to literally push your hip into position and then reach with your back foot. So my back foot's pretty much touching the door. So if I try and put my toe through the door, all of a sudden I become a lot more aware of what's happening at my hip. Just give your whole body a job, give it something to do. If you need the wall, just use it for a little bit of support and check. So if you go down and you start to lose it, just poke the wall, relax. So while you're resting, if you watch that demo, you're going to go back to the start. But if you're up here, just keep checking your position. Don't hold on to it or you won't do any work. So in another 15 seconds, we're going back into streamline crunch. Make sure you keep taking little drinks. And streamline crunch in 3, 2, 1, go. So put crunches in so you can focus on creating tension, doing sky sit-ups and full sit-ups. It's good for checking mobility and range of motion. But with crunch, you've got a chance to put as much tension and effort into your abs as you possibly can. So it's almost more replicating the way you feel during a heavy set. Couple of seconds. 3, 2, 1. Relax. Press up plank march. So again, having done the crunch, you then tire your abs out a little bit. It becomes harder to hold your pelvis steady. And 3, 2, 1, go. Control the tempo, control your breathing. If you start kicking uncontrollably, your hips are going to shake anyway. The main thing is you need to think about initiating that lift with your glutes. So if you squeeze your hips, pick your foot up off the floor, what happens is you start to train your body to initiate upbeats with that a bit more, because you're just initiating with hip rather than lower back and hamstring. Relax. So back into airplanes. In 3, 2, 1, go. So I'm sure I can make an argument for it as well, but if you aim, so whichever leg you're standing on, if you reach that hand down towards the floor, I tend to find that a bit easier to balance. So again, then my arms aligned, the whole right side of my body's controlled. The only movement's coming from my hip. Try to hold at the top for as long as you can. And slowly return back to normal. relax. So I'd say once you can find that once you're fully stacked onto your side, then you start doing proper reps. So up for a couple of seconds and down, hold the position. 3, 2, 1, go. So once you've really started to nail technique, you should be able to go 45 seconds on one leg. A full sideways position. And control down. And back up. 15 seconds left. Lead with your shoulder as well. Oh, it's so annoying. It's getting close. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Relax. Do another 15 off. 30 off, sorry. Into the final round. So yeah, ideal situation, guys. You'll be able to go into that top position and use the wall. So I can feel good about it. To go up into that. Control back down to here. And just go through that for 45 seconds. It's going to take a lot of lower body control and upper body rotational control. So streamline crunch to finish the session. 3, 2, 1, go. If there's any other questions you need me to answer today, get them in now for the benefit of the group, or you can message me afterwards. As you go up, just pull your belly button. Again, a lot of you can do crunches all day if we needed you to. But as you go up, pull your belly button down to the floor. So you get a bit more of a squeeze. 2, 1, relax. Press up like March if you've got a water bottle or something to put in your lower back. It's not necessarily going to make it much harder if you're already stable. 2, 1, go. But just the thought of having something on your back might change your focus a little bit. Because if you think it's going to fall off, you'll start to concentrate a bit more. You'll squeeze your core a little bit harder. "15 seconds left. Lead with your heel. So get your heel as far away from your body as you can. In 3, 2, 1, relax. Airplanes. One on each side, then you're done. In 3, 2, 1, go. Again, every time you fall out of position, the more you fall out of position, the less control you have over the movement. It's always better to cut down the range, concentrate on where you can get to, and then next time you try and do it, you'll probably get further without realising. If you can as well, try and keep your bottom leg straight. And then switch sides. So if you bend your knee, it's a lot easier to control your body weight because you're closer to the floor. So ideal world, you want to have a leg straight. And you're going to start again in 3, 2, 1, go. So if you want to find that top range and you know it's coming from your hip, start by bending your knee. So I find that a lot easier on my left leg. Oh, keep breaking my own advice, it's really annoying. So bend your knee. rotate down. 10 seconds left. It's another argument for not talking during stuff like that. That's when I stop talking, I can concentrate. 3, 2, 1, relax. I think I switched legs in the middle. And 2, 1, go. So last time through today, play around with bending that knee, see if you can get the full range. It's a great way, some of you that have got tight groins sometimes, so you can do this effectively. You're going to be creating more stability at your hip, which will give you a bit more range of motion if you can control all these weird low intensity movements, as well as improve your body position control. If your ankle starts to give way, that's what causes you to fall. Relax. Yeah, if you start to lose position because your ankle starts to wobble, that just becomes your target. So improve that over time. So if it's not your hip, it's your ankle, don't worry about it. Just keep practicing the same as everyone else. And that'll do it. So session 5 done. Make sure you're ready for your aerobic set later on, but for now, go through your cool down. I'll call the timings, but I'm going to use the foam roller because I've been getting good feedback from people that have one but haven't known how to use it. So starting with your quads in 3, 2, 1, go. We'll go sides. So knee to hip, you always work from knee to hip. You go harder from the knee than you do from the hip backwards because of the backwards flow of blood in your veins. So lean a bit harder going up your body and then a bit more gentle going back down to where you started. So an example would be really letting all my weight fall here and lifting up a little bit. Or having no support, have a little bit of support when you go back. And then switch sides. So other leg. If you want to do the outsides, I get into a sort of side plank position. Put your other leg in front of you like this. So I think this is where the benefit of these tutorials come in. Because some of them look a bit strange. So if I was going to do a straight arm side plank, I'd go from there. You just bring your top leg out in front of you like that. That is brutal. I'm just going to stay here. If you're brave enough to lift your bottom leg off the ground, be my guest. But that alone is going to work wonders for you. That would for me, to be fair. Relax. And hamstring. So block stretch for everyone else. And then I'm going to cover this one again. If people have questions, they can ask. So my range of motion issues come from higher up, near my hip. So to affect that, the foam roller is going to start up here. You can pull it into me. You're just going to straighten your leg, reach your heel far away from you. If you're unsure, if you go on YouTube and look up foam roll flossing or mobility wad flossing, you'll get some good tutorials on that. But they're pretty much covering, relax, everything I'm showing you here. So as well as straightening your leg when it's up off the floor, you can also pull it towards you. So when it's on the floor, doing that sort of thing, it's going to have a big impact. Again, it shouldn't feel like you're stretching muscle as it's static movements are forward. This is more about compressing tissue. And you'll start to hit, for want of a better word, you'll start to hit and activate nerves. So then when you try and do straight leg raises, oh, it's the best I've felt all week. Again, foam rolling, do it. Into hip stretch. Go with a normal one like yesterday. If you have a roller, I'll cover it because people asked. Becomes more of a balancing act. So go hands on the floor, kind of like the start of reverse plank. If you lift a foot off the ground, rock backwards and forwards. but the only way to really do it properly is to have both your feet off the ground and move your leg. So again, it looks a bit strange, feels weird doing it, but the more you move that leg around, switch sides, again, the more you start to hit different parts of your hip that you don't always work on when you do your static stretching. So if you go elbow on the floor, elbow on the floor, and then turn as you move your leg. So straighten it, bend it, drop your knee down to the side. If you've got a hollow foam roller, it becomes a lot easier because you can pull it up into towards you. So especially before you do running, if you do a couple of minutes of this as well, you're going to start to prepare your hips a lot more effectively for that, as well as help you cool down from bodyweight sessions. Relax. You definitely need a lot more than 30 seconds on these. And to lats. So side plank position again, and then use the hand, put your hand inside the roller and move your arm. So similar to the chest one we did yesterday. If you find a sort of sticky bit and move your elbow, that's enough to start mobilizing it some more. And just gently, instead of you moving your body, use your hand to rock the roller backwards and forwards gently. Focus on breathing, try and relax. If you can, turn your chest towards the ceiling. Switch sides if you haven't. Foam rolling definitely takes at least a minute to start to figure out what you need on the day. 30 seconds, you'll start to get there, and then you'll be moving off. To get arm up's a lot harder because you're stretching your muscles a bit more. Hand over head, same thing. It's almost easier to target the spots that you need. If you move the roller, if you rock up and down, it's going to be a much bigger movement. It becomes harder to target things. So just hand on the floor, rock it up and down, and then stop. And then chest. Said it yesterday, so I'll repeat it today. Lie on the floor that you're going to do face down IYT. You then want the roller sort of pointed at your chin and going away diagonally. Hop, hand overhead. And exactly the same as the lat. Put your hand inside the roller, pull yourself down onto it, and then jiggle it backwards and forwards as you move your hand around. So I've got palm facing the ceiling, knuckles down below me. Move it out to the side. Try and lead the movement with your shoulder blade. So if you move it up and down, rather than just throwing your wrist around, try and create movement with your shoulder. Switch sides and see if they compare. Think about if you've ever had a niggle or an injury, whether this feels different compared to the other side. So if you go left to right. And then the more diagonal you can get the roller, the more feedback you're going to get from your body. You almost want to spend at least 5 seconds in each position before you switch, and then relax. Definitely the best way to teach yourself would be if you did 10 to 15 seconds of a static stretch, use the foam roller and then repeat that stretch and see if it feels different. A lot of the mobility work post-exercise is going to come more from the sensation. So you might feel that you're recovering, you might feel like you're more prepared to exercise, but that's a very big important part of preparing yourself. That's why it comes under the umbrella of physical preparation. If you don't want to do 2 minutes of stretching, that's fine, but if you do that and you feel more prepared, then that's the benefit you're going to gain from it. So we should never underestimate the power of sports psychology. So, challenges. So now you've got your aerobic set, which is all written up by group on the sheets. Challenge-wise, you've got the commitment challenge. So this is where the foam rolling tutorials will come in very handy. So your job tonight, I'm aware that it's the hardest set of the week for the aerobic, and it gives you a bit more of a chance to take care of your body. Very, very important. 30 minutes developing flexibility. So work on the 4 key stretches, use your swimming and screening reports. If you need access to those, I can give them to you. If you have an area of weakness that's been highlighted to you by a coach or by me, whether it's your neck or your ankle, we're going to look to you to get hold of me, and I'll be aware of who's committing to the challenge more effectively by how much my inbox blows up today. So if you have anything at all, neck, hip, if you've got little niggles, so if you've been running and you start to think, well, this muscle's been hurting me, what more can I do? And you're unsure, let us know, because it just means we can fix it we're aware of everything that goes on in your training. So it means that we can give you answers based around everything else we know about you. If you go online and find an answer, that's great in isolation, but we're trying to look after the whole package. So 30 seconds, beginning with those key 4, because if you address those, chances are you'll fix some of the other things as well. Even if the instructions are unsure, if you're unsure about the instructions, again, let us know, because then I can reword them and everyone benefits. And then support, so tomorrow's one, you've got as many rounds as you can, 12 minutes. So I've changed that up a little bit to make it more forgiving on your cores. You've got other things to worry about now. So you've got a 12-minute round on Saturday of 10 double dead bugs into a 200-meter run into 10 sit-to-stands. The sit-to-stand is literally just sitting down, standing up. So make sure you're doing it on grass. Actually, it reminds me. With running, some of the other questions I've had around shins and ankles. If you're worried about that sort of thing with running, try and do it on grass and maybe check the tread on your trainers. So if they're old, worn out, beat up things, I don't think any of you will ever be in that situation, but if your trainers aren't in good nick, that's going to have a big impact on the way you run and how you recover from the running. So please make sure that you're wearing appropriate shoes for it. And like I said, if you can run on grass rather than just hitting the road, you get it's a lot less impact on your joints as well. But give that a try. By all means, even if you don't have an immediate concern about it, have a go and just see, you might recover a bit faster. And we can focus on the improvements that we want to see. That's going to do it for me today. Questions, comments, keep them coming in. Thanks for checking in, guys. And from everyone else at Guildford, thanks for watching.